It is Tuesday the 5th of May and I don't think I've done a single wrap up this year yet. So we're going to fix that. Welcome to the good, the bad and the DNFs of 2026 so far. We're going to start with the good and then go to the bad and then go to the DNFs. The cat is being a cat in the other room, so if you hear her, I apologise, but I cannot stop her from being a cat. Like that. Yeah, she's lost her hairband that she was playing with. Yeah. We are. She's going to keep screaming at me all video. It's fine. So we're going to start with the good. We're going to get T. Kingfisher out of the way. I've read a lot of T. Kingfisher. I'm not going to rehash that now. I will simply link these videos in the description below because I've read a lot of T. Kingfisher. In fact, I have now read all adult T. Kingfishers and I enjoyed it immensely. So that's number one on the good. Done. Next up is Agnes Orbert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. If you loved Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, also by Heather Fawcett, you will love Agnes Orbert's Mystical Cat Shelter because it's like Emily Wilde, except it's set in, I want to say Victorian. It's not Victorian. It's like closer to World War I than Victorian, like just before World War I, maybe. I want to say Toronto. There's so many cats. It's very urban. It's very funny. It's got the exact same like type A protagonist with a whimsical, slightly arrogant love interest. It's that formula again that she does really, really well. It was so enjoyable. The cats catted so hard. Yes, they did. And it was just delightful. I loved it so much. Oh, you want a plot? Yes, I can do a plot. Agnes runs a cat shelter. She is very type A, she makes lots of lists, all she cares about is these cats and looking after these cats. Then, two wizards decide to have a giant duel in front of her cat shelter, smash the windows, and it's unlivable. She has to find somewhere else to rent for this cat shelter. My first thought was, why are you renting a cat shelter? But I suppose not everyone's made of money, so that's just me being judgy. Anyway, she has to find a new cat shelter, but no one wants to rent to her because she has about 15? No, like 30 cats. To some, I can see how that is reasonable. That sounds like heaven to me, but I am not the one scooping the litter trays. She eventually finds a slightly dodgy place to rent for her cat shelter. It just so happens that there might be someone in the basement and that someone might be a really grumpy wizard. It's a really good Howl's Moving Castle, like Sophie and Howl dynamic between them. Agnes has a really snarky sister who is chaotic neutral, I think, at best. And there is a particularly good antagonist and things just descend into chaos and they have to wriggle their way out. And even though they drew on one of my least favourite tropes, right at the very end for a little twist, I still didn't hate it. I still thought it worked quite well. So it was good. It was good, would recommend. Am I going to say that after every recommendation? Yeah, I might. Who's going to stop me? This next one is a little bit mean because it's not out yet. It's The Unmagical Life of Briar Jones by Lex Croucher. This is Lex's first adult novel compared to the YA that they normally write. Briar Jones has always been obsessed with the suspected magic school up the road from them. It's supposed to be really austere and elite, all of those things that you would expect from a magic school. They and their best friend Seb, as children, dreamed of this place. They sent off application letters. They theorised if it was even real. I'm a little bit lost on that bit in the beginning of the book as to who thinks it's real and who thinks it's like a myth or whatever. They think it's real and that's important to them. When Seb gets accepted into the Temple School of Thaumaturgy, which is what it's called, Briar is devastated. Years later, Briar is hired by the school and this book follows them entering Temple, discovering that Seb is no longer quite the person he was before and unpicking all of the relationships and the secrets and the magic and the interconnected personal drama at the school. It is everything you want from a magic school book for adults. I got to interview Lex, which will be coming out on the Fantasy Hive, I want to say beginning of June, so about a month away. Also done a review for the Fantasy Hive. This was a gifted arc. Really good. It was just like dark, gritty academia with like inherent queerness all the way through that is not part of the plot. It's just there. It's just there in multiple characters. And I just loved it. I thought it was really, really good. If you liked A Deadly Education, but wanted fewer monsters and more like stuffy, arrogant pricks, this is the book for you. And then we have The Fox and the Devil by Kirsten White. This I thought was going to be a Carmilla retelling. It wasn't quite that. It was that kind of vibe, but if all of Europe was involved and a lot of grisly murders. We follow Annika, whose father is murdered, and she saw the killer, this woman in like a white dress that has haunted her dreams ever since she witnessed the murder, and she's been obsessed with getting revenge. Understandably. When she catches a hint of this woman in a murder case that she is helping her friend solve, she cannot let go of it and chases this woman all across Europe, following these grisly murders that she's leaving in her wake, with a nasty twist to all of them. And she has a gang of friends. There is queer rap, it's supernatural, it's murder mystery on murder mystery on murder mystery, brings in elements of your favourite classics. Annika's last name is Van Helsing, and it was a really good romp. The pacing was a bit off. It wasn't perfect for me. It was 3.75, but it was really enjoyable, and I am really on my sapphic vampire kick at the moment, and this scratched that itch for me a lot. So it's on the goods list, but that is the end of the goods list. On to the bad. I'm as surprised as you that I have bads on this list, because normally if a book is bad, I DNF it. However, the first book on this bads list is The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. I am saying that I read this because I listened to the audiobook from start to finish and understood words that were said in my ears. Do I understand them all in the context of a plot? Mostly. Could I regurgitate much of that plot? Maybe a couple of paragraphs if you're lucky. Did I enjoy listening to it? No, that's a lie. I do like listening to Andy Serkis speak, which was the main draw of the audiobook, and the reason I kept listening. It was very like therapeutic and calming, listening to him tell me stories that I didn't really understand. What I did catch, I think the one thing I learned from reading The Silmarillion is that Brennan Lee Mulligan, you have pinched the name Ahriman from The Silmarillion, and it's quite significant about how you did that. And if you want to know how, look it up, but you're not so sneaky. You're not as sneaky as you think you are. And I was very proud of myself for catching that in the depths of this book. I mean, do it if you're a purist. I just wanted to be able to say I had done it, and now I can. Will I maybe listen to it if I need to fall asleep sometime? Yeah, maybe. Am I going to reread it for fun? No, I'm not. Next, Green and Deadly Things by Jen Lyons. This was an arc sent to me. I reviewed it for the Fantasy Hive. I didn't really enjoy it. I should tell you a plot before I start ragging on it. This is a fantasy world where necromancy and plant magic all kind of come together and create chaos. We have a series of knights who are there to fight the monsters that are infected with the plant magic. One particular knight accidentally wakes this ancient necromancer under the temple fortress that he is being trained in, and all havoc is loosed, the world is upended, etc., etc. I felt like I had read this book before so many times. I didn't find the combination of plant magic and necromancy particularly original, or at least it wasn't executed in a particularly interesting way or a particularly original way. I found the characters so boring and so just like, picture a male main character of a fantasy novel. Well done, you've met our protagonist. You don't need to know anything else about them. Have they got to have parents? Yes. Do they need to save the world at the drop of a hat? Yes, they do. Fill in the blanks from there, really. I was expecting more twists. I feel like the turns the plot took were presented as twists when they weren't anywhere near good enough or surprising enough to be twists. And it just went on for far too long. It is a standalone fantasy if you want to give it a go. You're not committing to a series, and the romance needed to get in the bin. There was no reason for them to be romantic at all. Not a single circumstance in that book was romantic or called for the way that romance blossomed, and I have beef with it. Moving on before I get angry. Last on the bads list is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. Now, had this not been called The Goblin Emperor, and had the word goblin been replaced with literally any other name, it would not have made any difference to the plot whatsoever. I wanted really good goblin rep. I'm always after good goblin rep. You've met me. I love this shit. Goblins, trolls, that's all I live for in books. That's excessive. I wanted good goblin rep. I did not get good goblin rep. What I got was political intrigue that was inherently patriarchal and predictable, and like a lot of everything I've seen before. There were some cool world building elements. There were some not cool world building elements. There were far too many male goblins. I was not particularly interested in the plot. And the main character, the entire time, I haven't told you what the plot is yet, the main character, the entire time, just stood there going, what's happening? Why do we do this? What should I do now? The whole time. The whole time. Granted, the plot is about him being suddenly thrust onto the throne because enough relatives died that he was suddenly first in line, and now he has to navigate court. But that was kind of it. I never knew where the plot was going. There was no like, and this is where we're headed, and this is the thing that he has to grow out of, other than his naivety, which we did so in just the longest, most drawn out way possible, and he made so many stupid mistakes, and he had to ask everyone for help, and it was so uninteresting. I only finished it because it was an audiobook, and I've DNF'd so many audiobooks. I need to stop because it's not a good use of money. So I got my money's worth out of that book and trauma alongside it. Those were the bads. I'm not going to go through every DNF because there are 16 of them and they are here. Gaze upon them in your own time. I can almost guarantee that I DNF'd every single one of these because they didn't hold enough intrigue for me. They were either written poorly or I just didn't like the main character. Those are the main reasons that I DNF books, and normally that means that I read a lot of good ones, but not so much in this case. What a shame. But that's it. That's where I'm up to, 5th of May, 2026. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I just talked about. Let me know if you want to read any of the books that I just talked about. If they're any of the ones that I just shat on, I'm sorry. Let me know what you think of them. I'm interested to see if you have a differing opinion to mine. If you got this far, leave me the troll emoji down in the comments because we love a troll. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff because it really helps me out as a channel and it makes me happy every time I see someone subscribed or liked it or whatever. And I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be.